Good evening, everybody. How is everybody doing on today? I pray that everyone is blessed and highly favored. As you can see, I'm already messed up. So I have a testimony. This is a testimonial vlog about how God kept me and blessed me with a vehicle. 6 years ago, May 31st of this year. This song that I have had on repeat since yesterday has been tearing me all to pieces because God has been so good to me over and over and over. He keeps making ways out of no way when I don't see it. When I don't see the way, I can't see the way. But he makes it. He keeps making it just for me. I do not own the rights to this music.
For what you've done for me, how you loose my shackles, how you set me free, how you made a way when there was no way, how you made a way when there was no way, how you made a way, when there was no way, oh God, you made a way. 'Cause you've been so good. Come on, lift it up. You've been so good. Oh, right there, right there. Let them hear your heart in that tonight. You've been so good. When I almost lost my mind,
Hallelujah.
when the enemy came in like a flood, so
Thank you,
everybody
Jesus.
lift your voice, say, so good to me. You've been better than good to me. You've been better than good to me. Yeah. You've been better than good to me. You've been better than good to me. Oh, you've been better. Oh, you've been better. You've been.
The photo grid that I put up on my story today. The first picture in the grid I posted in June of 2013. When I was saying in the caption or in the meme, whatever you want to call it, for God to bless those that have no AC in their vehicles. I was driving a 1995 Plymouth Voyager from about August 2012 to May of 2014. That van got me to and from where I needed to go for as long as I was able to drive it. It had no AC. The heat worked sometimes. It had every kind of fluid leak possible. It had a gas leak. It had an oil leak. It had a transmission fluid leak. Everything leaked. Oil leak. Everything leaked. Everything. Every time I had to pull over on the side of the road because it didn't like to go over 45 miles per hour, I would say, Lord, I thank you. Every time the brakes gave out while I was driving it, I would say, Lord, I thank you. I never one time complained. I never complained. I just would say, Lord, I thank you. No matter what happened, no matter what the situation was, I would just say, Lord, I thank you. Every time. People that knew me and knew what I was going through at the time used to be so concerned and so scared. But if I ever needed somebody to pick me up to come and get me, God always had somebody right there that was a phone call away. If I was on the highway, on the side of the road, whether it was night, early in the morning, whatever, nobody ever stopped and tried to cause me any harm or anything. Every time. The brakes gave out one time, and it was raining. It was early in the morning, and I had worked third shift. And I was coming down a hill, but it's a curve before you get to the hill, so you can't see what may be on the other side of that curve until you come out of it. When I came around the curve, a tree had fallen all the way across the road on my side. Was the biggest part of the tree. I tried to slam on brakes. The brakes gave out. I tried to pull the park brake. That didn't work. I had already slowed down, but I couldn't stop. So it was an opening in the tree. And I closed my eyes and I said, Jesus. And when I opened my eyes, I was on the other side of the tree, but a branch had broken into the windshield on my side at the top. The glass didn't break out. It didn't get in my eyes. It didn't shatter. It stayed intact. but it was cracked all the way around. Lord, I thank you. I thank you. I was able to make it home, even with the rain, even though I couldn't see through the windshield. I could kind of look out of my window on this side. Lord, I thank you. I could have been blinded for life or worse, but he kept me. He kept me. One night during the winter, the wind chill was 9 degrees. I was working second shift, but I didn't get off till 2 o'clock in the morning. When I left the parking lot of my job, the brakes gave out. But I was so hungry, I didn't care. I went to McDonald's, through the drive-thru, pulled up the park rate every time I had to stop. Got me a quarter pounder with cheese combo with a Hassy orange to drink. Pulled over and ate it. On my way home, the van overheated. So I was barely going maybe 25, 30 miles per hour at the most, because I was trying not to let the needle or make the needle go all the way to the H. By the time I got to halfway home, it got to the H. Mind you, I ain't had no brakes other than the park brake. So I'm going around a curve, and I hear this explosion under the hood. So I had to pull over because it wouldn't run no more. I called my insurance company. They said I could have it towed one way for free. I asked them to tow it to one of my friend's shops the following day. And it just so happened one of my friends that I work with lived close by. I called her. She came and got me. She took me home. When I was able to go to the shop where I had it towed, my friend told me, he said, I have never seen a radiator hose disintegrate. Never. He said the hose was completely, he couldn't find no part of the hose at all. He said it's a wonder the pressure didn't blow the hood off of the van. He told me that he didn't know how I made it anywhere with them brakes, without any brakes, because when he took one of the tires off to look at the brakes, the brake fell all to pieces in the floor at the shop. When I tell you God He has been so good to me. He has kept me so many times. He asked me, he said, what you gonna do How you gonna get back and forth to work? I said, my mama got a car. I mean, I just have to do what I've been doing. Catching a ride halfway, somebody take me the rest of it, or whatever the case. I ain't worried about it, and I won't. I was not worried about it at all. I wasn't worried about it at all. At all. But he was. He couldn't understand why I was so calm the whole time. So he told me that the engine was going in the van. It was making this god awful noise. And he said it was because of the oil leak. It wasn't holding enough oil. He said he was going to try to change the oil pan and all of that stuff to see if that fixed it, which he doubted that it would, but he said he would try. He said if that made the noise stop or whatever the case, you know, I could go for a little bit longer. And if not, I was just going to have to drive my mama's car or, you know, do something, whatever. He was supposed to call me that Friday. He didn't call me. So I didn't think nothing of it, really. I said, he probably got busy. I'm trying to fix this thing. Yeah, I don't care nothing about it. Because I'm trying to help somebody with this testimony. If it fall out, it just fall out. I don't care nothing about it. I don't care nothing about it. Okay. So, and this video is long. I meant to tell y'all that in the beginning. If you watch the whole thing, fine. Whoever needs it is going to watch the whole thing. Okay. He didn't call me Friday. So that Friday when I got off work, it was May 30th, 2014. I had gotten something to eat. 2 to 3 weeks prior, I had been writing down dealerships' websites that I was going to go on to try to find a vehicle. I had about 16 or 17 written down on this piece of paper. May 30th, 2014, I decided, I said, when I get home, I'm going to eat. I'm going to take a nap. When I wake up from that nap, I'm going to go online and I'm going to look at some of these websites and try to find me a car. Now, I do not like commercials. If I watch TV, which very seldom I do, but if I watch TV, I try to watch movie channels or something because I don't like commercials. I do not like commercials. My mama don't care nothing about commercials. So most of the time, the TV is on channel 13, now the people's. Okay, so I'm sitting in the living room and I turn on the TV a little while I'm eating. It's on channel 13. So this commercial comes on for Danville Toyota. Pen. I have never or had never in my whole entire life been to Danville Toyota. Where they used to be to where they are now. I had never been ever in life. Okay. Play. So they was having some kind of spring sale something. And I was like, I said, I'll just, when I wake up from my nap, I'll make that one of the websites that I visit just to look to see what they got. I wake up from my nap, and instead of going to the 16 or 17 different ones I had written down on my piece of paper, I just went to Danville Toyota. So I'm looking at all these cars, and I'm like, these used cars are just as high as brand new cars. I don't need no brand new cars. I just need a little something to get me from point A to point B. Okay. So they had an application for financing or whatever. So I filled out the application. I went back to bed. When I got up the next day, I had to go to the laundromat because at the time something was wrong with our washing machine. So I needed to wash some clothes and I needed to go pay a bill. My mom at the time was staying with my grandma on the weekends. So I asked her if I could use her car to go do what I needed to do. And she said, yeah, but you're going to have to walk up here and get it. My grandma's house is right up the street. Okay. So I got an email from Kevin Kernodle at Danville Toyota regarding my application. So he was asking me questions like, what was I looking for? What was I looking to spend? This, that, and the other. So I'm thinking to myself, now I know good and dag blame well these papers is not finna put me in no vehicle at nobody's Danville Toyota. I know they lying. I know they lying. Okay. So I email him back and I tell him what I'm looking for, what I'm looking to spend, yada, yada, et cetera, and so forth and so on. He doesn't respond. So I said, see, I don't know why he took the time to email me to start with. Okay. So before I left the house, or before I walked to Grandma's house to get my mama's car, something told me to grab a check stub and take one with me. I didn't question it. I thought it was kind of strange, but I just did it. Put the check stub in my purse, in my pocket sack. So I'm like, when I get to Danville, I'm going to go get me something to eat. I'm going to go pay my bill. I'm going to go to the laundromat. And I might just go by Danville Toyota just to take a look, So I get to Danville about 2 p.m. I go to Bojangles, get me a steak, egg, and cheese biscuit with some seasoned fries and a sweet tea. And I park in a Food Lion parking lot to eat. When I got to this parking lot, I got a phone call from a Danville number. Excuse me. I'm not one to really answer. Excuse me. Unknown callers. But some told me to answer that call. So I answered the phone. And the voice says, hi, may I speak to Cassandra? This is she. Hi, Cassandra. This is Nick Bello with Danville Toyota. How are you doing today? I'm all right. How you doing, Nick? And thanks. So, he's telling me, Kevin had told him a little something, and he was calling to check to see again. I already told Kevin in the email what I was looking for, what I was looking to pay and things. But he wanted me to tell him again, which I did. For those of you that don't know, Nick Bello used to be known as the credit doctor of Danville Toyota. Okay. So, I tell he, again, what I'm looking for, what I'm looking to spend, yada, yada. So he says, okay. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put your information in and exactly what you said. I'm going to put in how much you're looking to pay monthly and, da-da-da-da. And then I'll give you a call back when I hear something from the bank. Pen. This was a Saturday afternoon. After 2 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon. I'm thinking to myself, ain't no bank finna tell you nothing today. Nathaniel, nothing, not nary nothing about no loan application for nobody's vehicle on no Saturday after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, so I finished eating, and I don't know, I that whole day, I just had this feeling. It wasn't a bad feeling. It was just a kind of confused feeling. Like I was just driving aimlessly all over the place with really no destination. I knew what I had to do that day, but it was just like, oh, it was strange, but yeah, it was just weird. So I leave the Food Line parking lot, and I had got off the phone with Nick, and now I'm going up North Main Hill. As I'm going up North Main Hill, Nick calls me again. Now at this point, it's after 3 p.m. Nick says, "Hi, Cassandra." "Hi, Nick. Are you at school or at work?" "No, Nick. I don't work on the weekends, and I no go to school." He said, "Okay, well, would you happen to have a check stub?" Y'all remember that check stub that I put in my pocket sack before I left the building? The check stub. I said, "I sure do, Nick." He said, "Well, is there any way you could bring it by here so I can make a copy of it?" So at this point, I'm on my way to Danville, Toyota for the first time ever in life. And now it's about 3:35 in the afternoon. So when I get there, it's some people outside, and Kevin was one of the people that was outside, and he asked me, could he help me with anything, and I told him I was there to see Nick. And he said, "Oh, okay." He said, "You're Cassandra?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Oh, I'm Kevin." I said, "Nice to meet you, Kevin." So as we're walking into the dealership, I don't look at no vehicles. None. I don't look at Nathaniel. I'm just looking at where I'm going in the building. So he says, "What has Nick told you so far?" I said, "Well, I mean, not a lot, other than basically the same stuff that you did, or the same things that you asked me. Only difference now is he asked me to bring a check stub over here so he can make a copy." He's like, "Oh, okay." So we go in the building, and here come Nick with this bright smile, and just so sweet. He is so sweet. So he opens the door, tells me to come in his office and have a seat, and he takes the check stub, and as he's making a copy, he says, "I think the bank is going to grant you the amount that you said you could pay monthly." I said, "Okay." Now, mind you, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, he is really playing with my emotions. I had never been able to get a vehicle on my own without a co-signer at nobody's dealership, not no real dealership, other than one in Greensboro when I got my Ford Taurus. But that was it. Okay. So he said, "Okay, I have the copy," and he said, "I am actually about to go on vacation for 2 weeks." He said, "So somebody from here will give you a call sometime next week. He said probably Monday, and let you know what the bank said. I said, okay. So I told him, enjoy his vacation, and I thanked him or whatever. So I leave. Again, I don't look at no vehicles on the lot. I'm going straight to my mama's car, get in the car, and leave the premises. I ain't looking at nothing. Nathaniel. Okay, so when I get to, before I went in, I had put my phone on silent. I had forgotten that I had put my phone on silent until I had gotten close to the mall. So I take my phone out to take it off silent, and I got a missed call in the voicemail from Nick Bella. That fast. So I'm listening to the voicemail, and he calling me. So I answer the phone, and I say, yes, Nick. He says, Cassandra, are you still at the dealership? No, Nick. I have left the building. He said, well, where are you? He said, did you get my message? I said, Nick, I was trying to listen to your message before you just called again. He said, oh, I said, I'm over here by the mall. He said, gosh, you drive fast. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, Danville Toyota is right down the street from the mall. It ain't even there 5 minutes. He had jokes. Okay. He said, well, come back. I have great news. Okay, Nick, I'm coming back to the building. At this point, it's after 4 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon. I get back to the building. I don't look at no vehicles again. I just go straight in the building. Nick then turned his light out in his office. But he comes from somewhere in the showroom. He goes in his office. He comes back with this key right here with a little paper tag on it. He says, follow me. So we going outside, right? So we're walking towards some Toyota Corollas. Every Toyota Corolla on this front line says 2013, 2014, and up. All of them. Now, remember, this is 2014. That we were in at the time. Okay. So he walks up to this white Toyota Corolla and hits the button and opens the driver's door and tells me to get in. So I get in and I sat down. And he squats down beside me and he says, it's got power locks and windows, AC, AM, FM radio, CD player. He said, I think it has about 20. He said, turn on the ignition, turn on the switch. I turn on the switch. 24,536 miles on it. So this is a 2013. We're in 2014. So that's basically a brand new vehicle because that's probably dealer miles. This, that, and the other. And I'm sitting in this car. And I'm like, still thinking to myself, why is he playing with my emotions? Why are we sitting in this car? Why did he bring me to this car? Why did he call me to come back? So he says, you like it? I said, yeah. He said, okay, well, come back inside. Let's talk about money. Why is we talking about money? I don't got no money. We go back in the office. He turns the light back on. He says, I was about to leave and go home. He said, because we're having a big cookout before we go out of town. He said, and I just so happened to look back at my computer screen before I left and it said you have been approved. So I was at a loss for words for a minute. I was stuck. He said, I got you approved through a credit union. He said, all I need you to give me today is $20. I said, what is the $20 for? He said, the $20 is to open your savings account with the credit union, because everybody that has any dealings with this credit union has to have a savings account in order to do business with them or to become a member. I handed him $20. He called somebody in his office and gave them this key and told them to go fill it up with gas. He said, I need you to write down 3 references on this piece of paper. At this point, I am thanking and praising God. I am crying in his chair in his office, and I'm telling him, thank you so much. I said, I thank God for you. I thank God for you. I thank God for you. I said, you have no idea what I've been through for almost 2 years. Driving that van I was telling you about. I said, no AC in the summer. No heat the majority of the winters. Sitting on the side of the road. Brakes gave out about 3 different times. I had to drive through a tree. The sliding door on the side came off the track. I said, so many things that I went through. But Lord, I thank you. Lord, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. Nick said the only thing that I couldn't do was a 0 down payment. I said, okay. He said, so your down payment is $500. I said, nigga, I don't have $500. I said, I had about $40 until I gave you that $20 for that savings account to open it up. I said, I just got paid yesterday and I'm broke already. He said, who said anything about paying it today? He said, can you give me a promise to pay by next Friday? I told that man, yes. I had no idea where $500 was coming from because I got paid every 2 weeks. But I told him yes. He said, I just need a card to put on file for your down payment. He said, you don't have to use this card. He said, if you want to pay it in cash instead, he said, all you have to do is call before Friday and let them know. And you can come up here and pay it in cash, or you can use the card however you want to do it. I left that lot in a 2013 Toyota Corolla. And all I had to give him that day was $20. I prayed and asked God that weekend to help me get this down payment. Not only did he help me get the down payment, he got me a loan big enough to pay off some old debt and had a $500 for the down payment. So when I tell you that you can have anything you ask God for, all you have to do is continue to thank him and praise him in advance. Just tell him thank you. If you ain't got to say nothing else, just tell him thank you. That's what I did. Every time I had to pull over in that van, every time it broke down, every time whatever it was, whatever happened, whatever, I would sit there on the side of that road and I would say, Lord, I thank you. Every time. And I've been in this right here. I've been driving this for 6 years. My God is awesome. My God is a way maker. He makes ways when you can't see no way can be made. He will keep you and protect you from any and all seen and unseen dangers. All you got to do is thank him. All you got to do is praise him. All you got to do that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Pray and fast. Do you know how big a mustard seed is? A mustard seed is little. It's real little. That's the amount of faith that he requires you to have. I have a plethora mustard seed faith. I got a whole lot of these right here. Always have. Always will. So just know, it don't matter what you going through. It could be a divorce. It could be a loss of income. It could be death of a loved one. It could be hunger. It could be anything. Just know, if you don't know nothing else, if you don't take anything else from this vlog today, know that God wants to give you the desires of your heart, and he wants to provide you with everything you need. He will take care of you. He will comfort you. He will keep you in his arms even when you don't know you being kept. I promise you. I promise you. I promise. So, You all be blessed. Be a blessing. I love you. I am praying for you. And there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. Until next time. See you.